part of the Supergun show, we are reviewing the Proto M8. And yeah, I say the Proto M8 is probably one of my favorite spool valve guns that are on the market right now. It's selling for about $750. The price is right. It's got the new Hyper 3 regulator. Something I really like about it, it's got the spring-loaded Delrin detents. It's the same detents that I've been putting on, the same ones that I got like in my mark. They work great. They last forever. You never have to worry about it. It's got the self-cleaning eyes. I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. Something else that the Proto is doing, which I really like, is they're not coming with a 14-inch barrel. I have a classic Proto here, one of the older ones. And you guys remember this, they used to come with the shorter barrels. And now Proto is coming with a nice 14-inch barrel. I believe it's a 690 back. Feels great in the hands. At first glance, it looks like the low pressure regulator was removed from the Proto, but that's actually not the case. The gun does have a low pressure regulator. How you adjust it is through the bottom. I'll show you how to take this out here in a little bit. Pretty much the biggest thing with the low pressure regulator is it prevents damage to the solenoid. And it also kind of protects the general O-rings inside of the gun. Without a low pressure regulator, when some of the other guns that only have one regulator, like the rail, if you over pressurize the gun, you can not only blow your solenoid, but you can also blow the O-rings and roll the O-rings out of the grooves and stuff like that. Having the low pressure regulator in there allows your gun, if you make a mistake on adjusting your velocity or adjusting your pressure, you won't end up blowing O-rings or blowing your solenoid. But what they did was they moved the regulator, which used to be here in the front, the low pressure regulator, or even to the back, and they moved it straight up and down. So basically, if you can see this pin here, that's where the new low pressure regulator is located at. And how you adjust it is through the bottom. There's an adjustment screw right underneath the grip frame here. And that's actually how you adjust the low pressure regulator. So the gun feels great in the hands. It's very comfy. I do like this little notch here. It feels great in the hand when you wrap your fingers around it. Basic ultralight frame. They haven't changed that in a while. Same fuse bolt that all the diagrams have been coming with. Also comes with a nice on-off with bleed. So what we'll do here is let's go ahead and weigh it, and we'll start the process of taking the gun apart. Now, inside the box comes with everything die, and Proto has always had really good packaging. This is definitely no different. Inside here we've got an instruction manual, we've got Allen keys, an extra O-ring kit, some lube, barrel sock, great packaging, everything that you would need inside there, a warranty registration card. So let's go ahead and weigh the gun. Okay, Proto M8 is weighing in at 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Hopefully you can see that. 2 pounds, 4 ounces for the Proto M8. So what we'll do here is we'll start taking it apart. Now I've already put a video up on how to take apart the Hyper 3 regulator. It's very easy. Once you unscrew it, it's just got a top cap and a bottom cap. You take the 2 caps off, pull everything out. Very, very easy. I'm going to start taking the gun apart and showing you what goes on in the internals. What we'll do is we'll start the process of tearing down the Proto M8. First thing I always recommend doing is removing the barrel. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Now, the fuse bolt is the first thing we're going to start with. Very easy to take this apart. Obviously, the first thing you always want to do is double check to make sure there's no air in your gun. You don't want to try pulling your bolt out with any air in your gun. You always use a squeegee to pull out to push out the bolt. Fuse bolt is very, very easy to take apart. All you have to do to take apart your fuse bolt is remove your front O-ring off the front of the gun. And then unscrew the cylinder. Okay, and then this is your top hat, this is your bolt, and this is your rear cap. So that's all there is to it. Dow 33 works great on this, but you can use any one of your favorite lubes. Really doesn't matter, but Dow 33 tend to work really, really well on this. So put it back together. Screw your top hat into your cylinder. Okay, screw your rear cap into your top hat, and that's all there is to the fuse bolt. Very easy. Okay, slide it back into your gun. Use your Allen key and tighten it down. That's it for the bolt. Now what we'll do is we'll start tearing down the gun and get into a little bit more advanced maintenance. Pull the bolt out. What I'll do is go ahead and remove the high pressure regulator. Now, like I told you, the high pressure regulator is very easy to maintain. I have a video up already showing you how to take this apart. Very simple. Basically, you grab it by the middle here, remove the bottom cap, remove the top cap, slide this off, pull out your piston, your shim stack, back out your adjustment nut, and you're all set. Very easy to take this regulator apart. If you have questions about that, go watch that video. What we'll do is we'll just go ahead and pull the macro line off. Now what we'll do here is we'll start off by removing the self-cleaning eye tube. Now the first thing I recommend doing if you're going to pull out that plastic tube that's inside there is go ahead and remove the eye covers and the Delrin detents. Now you have to be careful because those are spring loaded and you do not want to lose that spring. Okay, remove the other eye cover, set that aside. I usually just take my Allen key and put it inside there and I can pull out the Delrin detent. Okay, now the eyes, what they did here was actually pretty neat. They took the eyes and they put them inside of a little rubber grommet to hold them in place. I really like how they did the design of the eyes on the M8. Real nice design. Now what you do is once your detents are out and you just kind of move the eyes out of the way, you can just stick your finger in here and slide out your tube, which is for your self-cleaning eyes. So there's the plastic tube. Now basically what happens here is if you break a ball or chop a ball or make a mess, the O-ring on the bolt will clean this off, is the idea. So that's the plastic tube. Now your detents go through here, this hole that you see here, and the eyes are inside of the plastic here. So basically what holds this in place when you're out there playing is, one, the barrel screws in and holds this in place from the front, and also the detents going through it holds this in place. So even though I took it out really easily, it's because the barrel is not in place and the detents are out of the gun. That's why it's so easy to slide this out. So you never have to worry about this just popping out. As long as the barrel's in place and the detents are in place, this won't slide out. So let's go ahead and put this back in. And what we'll do is just line it up and push it back in place. Take a detent, put it in there, make sure that your eye is in there correctly. Take the spring, put it on top of the detent. Now with these eye covers and these little set screws that are holding these eyes in place, if for whatever reason you think that yours is stripped or starting to get stripped or possibly going to be stripped or just looks old or it's not gripping or whatever, once you get it out, replace them. I'm telling you, these little set screws are very easy to strip. I've seen a ton of them strip. And if for whatever reason, over the course of you owning this gun, if these detents ever start acting up on you, or these set screws ever start acting up on you, replace them right away. You don't want to take a chance of stripping these because they're recessing inside here. You take a chance of stripping these if over time you feel them starting to, some of the bites starting to come out of them. You definitely want to replace them right away. Okay, so that's how we took apart the anti-chop eyes and the self-cleaning eye system. Now what we'll do is we'll get into the gun and start taking apart the low pressure regulator. Now something that they did on this gun which I really, really like was they used the same screws all the way around. Back, I'm sure you remember like the old DM6 and stuff like that. It was two different screws that held the grip frame in place. And actually on the Proto M8, the same screws that hold the grip frame in place are the same ones that hold the your grips in place. So it's the same screws. So you got 8 screws here, all the same type, which is really, really nice. Now for the essence of time, I did go ahead and remove the solenoid wire.